So for this one, we're going to do an elbow hyperextension. For this, we use it for if we're having ulnar issues in our elbow. So if we get to full extension, we have pain out the front or the back. That's normally when we're going to use it. We can also use it for side-to-side support as well, but most commonly it will be for hyperextension. For this, we are going to go both above the bicep and come down below this big muscular part of our forearms. It's important to go below here and high there, so that way our tape drop stays in place and doesn't shift around and slide down and then becomes useless. But I'll make note of that here in a short little bit. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to do pre-wrap. So, like I said, about mid-forearm, just beneath the bit of muscle in their forearm. Basically going to pre-wrap all the way up, making sure that at least the front side of our arm is pre-wrapped. The back side is not as important. But we're going to go all the way up over our bicep. So you'll actually get relatively high. From here, we're going to do 2 base strips, both on top and on bottom. With these, it is important before you wrap them, have them flex that particular area. So I'm going to do the bottom one first. So flex your forearm here. You do want a little bit on the skin with each, or with your first one, and then just overlap. Basically as a good anchor point for our later tape drops. Up top here, again, you do want some skin. Have them flex their bicep. Be careful when you do go under their armpit, because we may get some hair if it is a male, or you might get some sensitive areas. But we're going to do 2 base strips like that, and we'll let them relax. From here, we're going to measure out our elasticon, our 3-inch elasticon. We're going to measure from the top of the tape to the bottom of the tape. Again, the non-sticky side will be put towards the arm, so that way we can pull it off relatively easy. Get a general measurement there. I usually add about 1 inch to it, just because we'd rather have too much than not enough. We're going to cut two pieces for it, the same length. And like our Achilles tape job, we're going to cut down the center on the red on both sides. Doesn't have to be much of a cut, but enough that we can tear it apart in a later step. Okay, so once we have both edges cut, we're then going to apply the elasticon. So with this part, we're going to have them position their elbow in a little bit of flexion. You're going to tear one side about 4 or 5 inches. Make sure you have both sides ripped, just so they don't tangle up with themselves. You're going to turn that elasticon piece around. Gently lay the elasticon piece on the top, mainly just to have a little bit of pressure. We're going to be peeling that off here in a second. You're going to line the center of our rip up with the center part of their forearm. Lay one strip down and lay the other one over the top of the end of your first one. From here, we're going to take our other side that is pre-cut. We're going to put a little bit of tension on it. Peel. This one we can probably peel about 6, 7, 8 inches, so that way we get a little bit of tension on our elasticon. Again, lining it up with the center part of their bicep. Lay one strip around the backside. Lay the other strip over the top. So this is our first strip. Second strip is going to be very similar. Again, peel about 4 or 5 inches on one side, flip it around, lay it up on top, line the center of our forearm up with the center part of our tear, lay down one side, lay the other side across. A little more of a rip on the top, pull some tension, lay one side down, lay the other side across. From here, we will do a strip over the edges on both the top and the bottom. Again, before you tape down, have them flex that particular area. Okay, now flex your bicep for me. Now, so when she bends her elbow up, there will be quite a bit of slack, so it'll be pretty loose. However, when she goes to extend, this elasticon will help keep her elbow from going to hyperextension. From here, both for practices, for competitions, anything like that, we are going to cover this bit of tape just so that nothing gets caught on this elasticon. Normally, we'll use Teralite. You can use some different materials, but for us, we will use Teralite. Start at the bottom, overlapping a little each time, basically just keeping this particular bit of tape in place. When you get to your elbow, if you can, try not to go over the top of it with tape. It'll make them be able to flex a little easier than if you tape straight over the top. Continue working up until you've covered all of that elastic. When you get to here, try and end that tape job on the center or the medial aspect of their arm. So that way, if they have, say, someone grab them, or if they're running by someone, it doesn't just peel open. Having it tucked underneath here will lock it down pretty well. From here, yep, elbow will be nice and open. From here, she can flex pretty much all the way. Now when she gets to extension, it won't allow her to get fully extended.